Hey guys, welcome back to Mystifying Miracles. I'm Kristen and I look for those true stories that involve miracles. So I do them every Monday and Thursday. So welcome if you're new and listen along. We'll get started. A Norwegian starship was on its way to Italy from Croatia, and it had been about 60 miles off Croatia's coast near midnight on August 19th, 2018, when a 46-year-old British woman, Kay Longstaff, fell off the back of the ship. It wasn't until 6:30 the next morning that it became clear what might have happened. And at that point, the Norwegian sent out an alert about the missing woman. Now, it's still unclear exactly what occurred. However, there was a crew member that came forward, and he claimed that Kay and her boyfriend had been having drunken arguments, just little spats, in the days prior to this happening. And that same crewman also says that he saw Kay deliberately jump off the back of the ship. Now, many factors went into, making her rescue possible. So I'm going to talk about a few of those first. When Kay, whether she jumped or fell, typically a ship of that magnitude, you would be sucked under and you would be a goner. That is the norm for if something like this were to occur. But somehow Kay evaded that. So that in itself was a miracle that did not happen when she fell in. Also, the Adriatic Sea, it's usually warmer than other bodies of water. So because of this, her body was able to withstand several hours. They said that the waters at that part of the year were between 82 and 84 degrees Fahrenheit. So warm. In addition, the Adriatic Sea also tends to have calmer waters. They're not choppy and wavy. And so when, obviously, if the seas and the waters are calm, that's going to make it easier for the rescuers to pinpoint and look and find her. Also, Kay led an active lifestyle. She loved working out. Yoga was her passion, so she was pretty physically fit. And they think that was also a possible contributing factor to her survival. Now, at night, that's when she went over at midnight, okay? And she was there for hours. Obviously, that would be terrifying. I'm terrified thinking about it. Kay said she would sing to avoid the loneliness and the scariness of, oh my gosh, here I am by myself in the dark ocean. And I say I'd be terrified because I've been on several cruises with family and friends in the last 20 years. And well, especially if you are out in the middle of the ocean and there's no ports nearby with lights, it is just pitch black. There is nothingness you can see except for the stars and the moon and the sky. So I would literally be terrified if somebody ever threw me in the ocean in the middle of the night. Yeah, no thank you. Back to the story though. So CCTV footage actually did capture the moment when Kay went overboard. So the crew looked back at the tapes and they saw that and they were able to pinpoint where she should be in the water according to the time and where their coordinates were when she went over. So that was a good thing. The Norwegian that did turn around in the middle of the night to go and try to find her. It went back to that area, but they say that they did not see her and they couldn't find her. But of course, once morning came, obviously visibility is better, and it was actually a Croatian patrol ship that spotted her, and she was not far from where she fell in. She was right there in that vicinity. And the reports that I found said they found her at 9:40 a.m. that Sunday morning. Now, once they pulled her aboard, they did take her to a hospital in Pula just to get her checked out, make sure all was well, and of course it was. She didn't have any injuries. I found a quote from Kay that she had told to a Croatian news station once she was rescued, and she says, quote, "I fell off the back of the Norwegian Star, and I was in the water for 10 hours. So these wonderful guys rescued me. I'm lucky to be alive." End quote. So that's Kay saying she fell off, okay? But not long after this all occurred, the Daily Mirror reported that Kay and her boyfriend had been arguing and fighting for several days before the plunge. And they also spoke to many tourists. And the tourists that were also on that ship said that, and they were insistent, actually, that slipping over the high rails surrounding every deck on that ship would have been impossible. Now, that's according to the tourists themselves. Once the ship docked in Venice, officials did grab and talk to Kay's boyfriend. But they, after questioning him and getting his side, they said that no foul play was suspected. Now, of course, from what I read and could find on the internet, most theories lean toward her having jumped, not to her having fallen off, like Kay says. But no one was around her when she did go over. Like, yes, the CCTV footage caught it, but no one else was within, the picture or the video. So it's not like her boyfriend was right there, or other passerby. Again, we've got to remember this is at midnight. So I guess by looking at the footage, they couldn't tell whether she jumped or slipped. So they just had to go off of tourists and from what that crewman said he saw her do. Who knows? But whether she jumped or she slipped, I think it's evident, most of us can agree that it is a miracle that she survived, right? She could have very easily been dragged under that ship from the suction once she hit the water, and she didn't. So, miracle. And, she survived that whole night, over 10 hours in the dark water by herself. Sounds terrifying, as I'd said, but she survived and she was found in the morning. So definitely a miracle in my book. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Had you heard this? And what are your opinions? I think I'm with the camp of she most likely jumped, but again, who knows? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, guys. And I really hope that you find these stories, as I always say, just giving you hope, showing you that, hey, these miracles happen. Big and small every day. So thank you again, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you for the next one.